There's something I've never really known how to explain properly because it doesn't sit neatly inside of any of the language that we tend to use when we're talking about grief. It started 2 days after my dad died. For an emotional change of scenery, my wife and I went into a toy store, and while we were strolling the aisles, I saw a box of giraffe finger puppets, and I'm not sure why, but I picked one up and I put it on my finger. And for reasons I can't explain to this day, I just couldn't bring myself to take it off. And looking back, I don't think that was a conscious decision. It was more immediate and instinctual. Like something in me needed to do it before I had words to explain to myself why. My wife didn't say anything at first. She just looked at me and quietly picked up another one from the box and took it to the register so that she could pay for it. That was Richard. In the days and weeks after my dad died, I was the one making the arrangements, shopping for burial plots, doing funeral planning, looking through casket catalogs, checking in on my mother, checking in on my sisters. I was the one holding things together because someone had to, even when that meant being on the ugly end of everyone else's grief. And in the middle of that, there was that one thing that didn't belong to anyone else. My giraffe finger puppet, Richard. He wasn't something that I explained to people, and he wasn't part of the version of me that everyone saw. He certainly wasn't part of the version that they relied on. He was entirely personal. He was private, hidden. When I was alone, I'd put him on my finger and just look at him until whatever difficult moment I found myself in had passed. And when I wasn't alone, I kept Richard in my pocket. I mean, my wife knew. And sometimes when things were getting heavy, she'd just look at me and ask, "Do you have Richard?" It became this quiet code between us. Just knowing that he was there in my pocket kind of changed how heavy things were in the moment. And it wasn't that he made anything better, and he definitely didn't fix the fact that my dad was gone, but seeing him grounded me. He reminded me of something simple, that happiness still existed somewhere in the world, even if it couldn't live inside me. That there was still something light out there, even in those moments where I felt like I was trapped in a dark place. My dad used to tell me to grow my own muscles. He'd flex his bicep and tell me his muscles would always protect me, but that eventually I would grow into my own. He said it like it was something that would just happen, something that would replace my fear, my insecurity, and maybe even my need for my dad. But near the end of his life, the roles shifted. I struggled trying to be his muscles when he couldn't fix anything anymore, and when he just didn't have anything left to flex. After he was gone, there was a massive gap between hearing his advice about being strong and actually being capable of living it. And Richard lived in that gap. Richard gave me a place where I could stop being strong for a few minutes here and there. A, a secret safe space where I could be the scared kid who missed his daddy without having to be strong for everyone else. I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't need to. It was there. Several months into this, my little niece was upset, and to cheer her up, I pulled Richard out and showed him to her. She looked at him and said, I love him. And she asked if she could have him. And I just handed him over. I didn't really stop to think that I was giving away something important in the moment. I just wanted her to be okay. My wife saw it happen and immediately said, oh no, because she knew exactly what Richard had become to me. But by then, he was already gone. Later, when things shifted again and another wave of grief washed over me, I reached into my pocket and I realized that I didn't have him anymore. I tried to find another one. I looked for an identical puppet, but I never did find one. And even if I had, it wouldn't have mattered. It wasn't about the object, it was about losing that specific and private door I used to step into when everyone else, everything else got too heavy. And times like this, with it being the week of Father's Day, I still miss Richard a lot. And sometimes I still think about him, not as a symbol or a lesson or a metaphor for moving on, just as something I once had in my pocket when I really needed it.